For the past 2 weeks, we've been talking about the last mile, and that last mile being the movement of good ideas or consciousness or thoughts into our deepest self so that they become natural and part of us, become integrated with us, and actually become our habituated self. The Course in Miracles says this: the memory of God comes to the quiet mind. The memory of God comes to the quiet mind. Imagine that. It is our mind that is the problem in this whole thing. Whether you're too busy or you're too quiet, it is the mind. It is the mind that makes solitary confinement so difficult. It is the mind that makes being in a crowd so difficult. What we think influences how the body feels. It influences what we do and how we act. And so what we think becomes the critical ingredient of our experience. It is indeed what we think about that causes our experience. So if we think about things that are disturbing, if we constantly bring our minds to that which doesn't seem to be working, if we bring our minds constantly to that which is ugly and poorly done, then we have brought our minds into a condition that is going to be unpleasant, that is going to be difficult for us, that will be harder for us to be happy in if that's what we're looking at. And so we can focus on the corrections rather than on the mistakes. And the mistakes may be many in our lives and in the lives of our society, but we focus on the positive outcomes that we want. Some of the people I have talked to during this time period, it appears that they're giving themselves time to recognize themselves at a deeper level. Now, I will admit it's a double-edged sword to recognize yourself at a deeper level. Much of what we must do in this time of deepening is to recognize where we are less than beautiful and to bring that into a sense of acceptance. So you turn and look toward that which seems to be missing within yourself. And again, this may feel negative, but the outcome that we're shooting for here is something beautiful, something done in excellence. So we look to our own experience, probably from childhood, possibly repeated in other times throughout your life, that have caused you to feel that anger would be an appropriate response. Perhaps your feelings have been hurt, someone was not there for you, or you were taken advantage of, abused in some way. And we must come to the clarity of looking at that and coming as deeply into acceptance as we possibly can. When we can come to a deeper sense of acceptance of that which has caused our anger, and then say to ourselves, I'm at peace with this, and I'm okay, even though this has happened, then we begin to quiet the need to express our anger in some other place. And so this feeling into the suffering that we're having, this is part of it. It is not the pretty, and it's not the beautiful. It is the difficult work. But the beautiful comes when we have dropped into this experience, and now we bring a layer of acceptance and even loving ourselves. And as we love the one who has suffered, this child or this younger one of ourselves, as we love that one, as we hold that one in our hearts and reparent, in essence, that being inside us, the need for this one, the adult that is out in the world, to express anger and to hold resentment diminishes. Whatever the experience was, let us bring our love to that experience. And having brought love to it, then see the ripple effect of that being feeling loved. That all that has happened to you can be held in the thought of this is a divine being, that you are a divine being, not one that is enabled to experience and process life, but one that is. And that you are a divine being which cannot really be harmed by anything in the outer world because you're not the body. But you transcend the body and this ego. And that as we begin to bring this deeper level of awareness, that not only can we accept and love the being that this is, but also that this being is part of this whole, which is you, which is divine, to which nothing can ultimately cause destruction, that we are actually above all the circumstances of this world. We are transcendent in a certain sense. So our job is really dual. One is to go in and to feel the feelings and to love the one who's suffering. That's the first. And then also to expand our minds so that we might begin to sense, feel, and embody the truth that we are not this body, that we are not just a little thing, but we are a grand thing because we are consciousness itself. So we return from being focused on the outer experience, whether it is too much or too little to do, or the suffering, or the abundance of information coming your way. We return back to the witness, and from the witness we spread out and connect with all that is. Remember that not to judge yourself, but when you find something that is hurting inside, to love it. And as you love it, you bring a sense of quietude and peace. It makes it easier to look from the state of the witness and to be the presence.